So did anybody watch the Super Bowl last night? Clearly, I'm a Kansas City native, born and raised here. Of course, the Chiefs are my team. Patrick Mahomes, what's his name? Kelsey, Travis Kelsey. And who's that new recruit we got? Taylor Swift. Hey, listen, my name's Timmy Gibson, former fundamental evangelical tongue talking Holy Ghost rolling pastor who does also like football, mainly just the Chiefs. In fact, I don't even watch every game that we have, but I do watch when we get into the playoffs, of course. And obviously, I like to watch the Super Bowl. It's more of a community event, kind of my replacement for church. So I just want to talk about the game, just because this is an off day. As you know, I do religious topics, deconstruction, atheism, agnosticism, questions about your faith, specifically related to fundamental evangelical type religion and faith. But I also like football, specifically the Chiefs. So yeah, I watched the show last night, and I just want to talk about a few things, just because, like I said, I do Sundays and Wednesdays talking religious stuff, and then I'll throw up videos here and there about other things. So the game started out funky, right? The whole game. Here, in a nutshell, what I felt like is that the Chiefs were having an off day and the Eagles were having an on day. That, in a nutshell, that's what it felt like, right? And of course, we all know that they went against the script. Obviously, I make fun of conspiracy theories, and when I start hearing people talk about football being scripted, I'm just like, come on, that's absolutely just ridiculous. Anyway, it'd be different if we're talking about boxing, where it's one person against one person. That kind of a sport, yeah, I think there can be some manipulation and some um, fuckery, going on in that kind of a sport. But when you're talking about an entire football team against an entire football team, I think there's going to be some people with character and integrity that wouldn't be down for the script. So I fluff that off as just people being goofy and fun. I don't think that even the people that come up with those shenanigans really believe that. I'm sure there are a few, right? And they also believe the earth is flat. So that is what that is. So just a few of my thoughts, right? I felt like Patrick Mahomes just seemed off. I mean, he was sacked what, 5, 6 times or something ridiculous, which was just crazy. And even in the look in his face in the interview, now maybe this is because it's retroactive, now that they lost, I'm feeling this way. And so I realize that there's some bias, or, looking back on something, you can say, oh, I felt like Patrick seemed off, but I did. And I will tell you this, my wife and I even talked about it. Like right after the interview, it was like, he seems kind of, something doesn't seem right. Like something seems off, Like, is he sick? Like, what's going on? So there's that. And then, of course, I have to say this because I laughed about it this morning. I said, well, apparently the Eagles were praying with faith, and that's why they won the Super Bowl. That obviously, clearly, I don't believe that. Everybody was praying for their team, praying for their son that was out there playing, or their friend, or their team, clearly. And so I would say that the prayers were equally. And if I'm honest, if the Chiefs had won, I would say the Midwest, being the Bible Belt of America, their prayers would have been more effective and would have worked more. A couple other things that stood out to me. One, I thought the Kendrick Lamar halftime show was fantastic. My wife and I, she's in the music industry, and she just loved it. I loved it. Everybody that was here at my house, we all loved it. And I did notice his jeans. Those jeans are bad A. I'm gonna order me some, except that they're like sold out now everywhere, and I'm sure you're hearing this and thinking the same thing. I believe that they were. Oh, I looked them up. They are Levi, um, 597s, I think. I think that's what they were. Shoot, I should have looked that up. It's actually on my phone, or I'd be able to look it up to tell you what they were. But I looked up the jeans that Kendrick Lamar was wearing, because I'm like, dude, those were dope jeans. I want to get me a pair. In fact, I'm wearing right now, which I can't stand up and really show you, but I'm wearing some jeans that look real similar to that. But the jeans that I have are literally retro, like they're old. I tend to keep some things from my younger days. I have a lot of things from my childhood. I say a lot. I have a few things from my childhood that are very meaningful to me. And some of those are like I've kept jeans from the 90s. I'm an 80s kid, but I have some even things from the 80s. I still have all my Swatch watches from when I was in high school in the 80s. And I think I have like six, seven, 10 Swatch watches. Anyway, that aside, the game, it just felt off the whole entire game, right? I just felt like the Eagles were on, the Chiefs were off. It was a bummer. Um, going into the halftime, there were, I think at that point it was 24-0, which was just wild, right? I thought, goodness gracious. I mean, they're almost down deep enough now that it's not going to matter. I don't even know, I don't even know if they can come back, if they even remotely play like they did in the first half. And the very, very end, all of a sudden I felt like, well, here the Chiefs show up in the last 5 minutes or whatever, last 10 minutes, I forget, last like the third or fourth quarter. All of a sudden they started kind of doing some of the wild, crazy stuff that they normally do, which was just fascinating to me. Had they done that in the beginning. Um, yeah, it was a very fascinating, interesting, wild, weird game. And I think it's hard for those of us in Kansas City. I'm not a die hard. I mean, I'm a big Chiefs fan, but I'm not like, I didn't lose any sleep last night. I wasn't mad. I didn't punch any holes in any walls. I don't bet on games. I just don't do that. But I enjoy watching the Super Bowl. Clearly, most people do. The commercials were great. I loved seeing Post Malone in a Bud Light commercial with that comedian guy. Oh, I can't think of his name, but uh, oh, I can't think of his name, but anyway, I thought it was great. I thought the commercials were great. I think my favorite commercial was with, was it Snoop Dogg and Brady? I think that, and they were talking about, that we have to do a commercial like this to be able to get along or whatever. You saw the commercial. That was probably my favorite commercial of all the commercials. It was the Snoop Dogg, Tom Brady commercial. We need to be unified. We need to stop with the us and them. Oh, if you're not with my political party, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to be friends with you. That kind of stuff is just crazy. A lot of times that stuff's, you only really see that online. It's not in person. But I'll tell you what. I'll be honest. I've seen that in person. I know. I know my daughter had a good friend. Apparently, that she wasn't that good of a friend, but a good friend that found out she voted the other way and said, I can't be friends with you anymore. And I thought that was just fascinating, just absolutely fascinating, because I have friends that have voted both sides, some on the side that I voted, some on the other side. And, I'm still friends with them. Though I would say, all my friends probably aren't extreme, extreme. They're not the extreme, uh, far, far either side. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. So yeah, this is just a bonus video to talk about how curious the game was. Yeah, I loved the Kendrick Lamar show, the halftime show. I loved Kendrick Lamar's jeans, those Levi's with the big bells. Those were bad. Hey man, I love them. I'm definitely gonna get me a pair, 100%. As soon as he came out, I was like, what are those jeans? And then when he turned around, I was like, dude, those are Levi's. He's wearing Levi jeans. I didn't know they made a big bell like that. Kind of a modern day uh, spin on the classic big bells that I used to wear back in the late 70s and the early 80s. I loved big bells. I wish I would have kept some of those. I mean, those were like skin tight all the way until about the calf. And then they just wiped, spread out over my entire shoe. That was the cool thing then. Anyway, so yeah, that's my thoughts on the game. It was hard to watch. Just right when it started, it just seemed off, and it just seemed like the Eagles are on and the Chiefs are off. Drop passes, bad throws. And some of the drop passes, some of them were the receiver's fault. But I'll be honest. I mean, I at first I was like, "What is Patrick doing?" But then when they did the slow mo back, it was, you'd see that he got hit at the last minute, and so as he's passing, he's getting knocked off, and so that just, it was a bummer. It was a bummer, just out of the receiver's reach, or he was throwing to a receiver and Eagles just all of a sudden appeared out of nowhere to intercept it. And then, we couldn't capitalize on the interception that we got. We got an interception and couldn't capitalize on it. We didn't even get a field goal. I don't even think in the first half did we even get past the midfield. I don't even think we got past the midfield. So, it is what it is. There's always this next season for sure to pull it together and learn from your mistakes. And I will say this: if Travis Kelsey happens to see this, if you need an officiant for your wedding, for you and Taylor's wedding, I know a great officiant, and I'm local here in Kansas City. Look me up. I'd love to do your wedding. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And yeah, congrats to the Eagles. They played a good game, man. They were on pretty much the whole game. They did a great job. And kudos to our guys, man, for not quitting. I think that says a lot about a team to come out so down. I mean, 24-0, hadn't got past the halfway point midfield the whole entire first half, and to come back out to try to switch some things up. I felt like we came out though, kind of like did we even go to halftime? Did we even come up with new ideas? But then all of a sudden you start seeing some things come together. Had the game been a 6-hour game, maybe the Chiefs could have put some more points on the board and made it a little bit more of a competitive game, which is what I think probably bothered all of the Chiefs people. I think what really bothered them is what would bother all of us. They lost at the very, very end, I guess 20-40 or whatever it was, 20, whatever it was, you know, and then that's pretty bad, right? Had it been a game of 40-43, I don't think that it would be different. If it had been like they scored, we scored, they scored, we scored, and then it came down to like a chess match at the very end, I think that would have been a better feel. But as a Chiefs fan, that's how I just feel like, wow, man, we just got smashed, really. We just got walked over. At one point, I was like, what was this, like a high school football team out there? Like, what are we doing here? It seemed off. It just seemed off. Anyway, my word to the Chiefs, man, dig deep, learn from this, watch that game over and over and over to learn, to find out what you can do different. Where are your weaknesses? Make those now, this next season, your strengths. Put some stuff together, work on some crazy wild plays that no one's ever seen before. And, hey, keep your heads up. Listen, as much as I love football, uh, and I get this, that for the football player themselves, this is their life. This is everything to them. It's who they are. It's their identity. I would just encourage you to step back, right? I mean, there's other things more important in life than sports. And I know I might get hackled down in the comments for that, and for maybe several things that I've said. I know there's mixed emotion on the halftime show. I thought it was great. I thought it was funny that he did dish Drake. In fact, when he first came out, I told my wife, I said, doesn't Kendrick Lamar have a little thing going on with Drake? And she said, yeah. And I said, I bet you Kendrick Lamar is going to do some kind of dish on Drake on this platform. And he did. I loved it, man. I thought it was just great. I thought that was just so fun to me. I don't know how serious the thing is between them. I don't know if it's real. I don't know. I'm not in that world, so I don't know what the behind the scenes chatter is. But I did laugh, man. I thought it was funny. And I didn't catch, I guess he dished him twice. I didn't catch the second one. My wife did. She said, oh, yeah, he dished him twice. Sorry, Drake. So, anyway, Kendrick Lamar is amazing. Definitely a true talent. He is a little guy, though. Goodness gracious, especially out there around, normal sized people. I knew he was small, but goodness, he was tiny, and I'm so tiny. I was like, I had to look him up. Man, he's 5'6". He's a little guy. I have a good friend of mine that was here last night, and he's short. I think he's 5'7", 5'8", and kind of like a bodybuilder guy. And he's like, "Dang, Kendrick Lamar's shorter than me." Anyway, to all the Eagles fans, man, congratulations! Seriously, what an honor, what a big thing. Your city's going to just have a party and a half. I know when we won the Super Bowl the last 2 years in a row. That's right, we're the third time coming to the Super Bowl in a row. It would have been cool to do that triplet. First team to ever do it. I think we're the first team that's ever done 3 Super Bowls in a row, winning two, doing losing the last one here. But what an honor, man. I mean, if you're an Eagles fan, cool, man. That's super cool. You guys did it. It's awesome. Unfortunate for us, right? Unfortunate for us here in Kansas City, who we were hoping we were hoping for a win. In all honesty, I know for me, I was definitely concerned about this game. I was concerned about the game against the Bills. We got that one clearly. This one I was definitely a little concerned with, but I had high hopes. I had high hopes, just like everybody who was a Chiefs fan, which is clearly everybody on the Eagles side was feeling the same as we were here in Kansas City as it related to the Chiefs. The Eagles they won and all their people won and they're excited and probably way hung over tonight or today, I bet. Anyway, cuss and discuss below. Let me know your thoughts. Curious what your perspective on the game was and what you thought might have been part of the problem. Yeah, that's it, man. I have a new video coming out Wednesday. I'm excited about, and another one on, of course, Sunday. Got some good ones coming up. I think you'll really enjoy. Don't forget, I have a Facebook group called Timmy's Deconstruction Community. So on Facebook, you can join it. It's free. It's just a fun place to get together with other people who are agnostic, atheists, deconstructing, or maybe you're spiritual and just have a lot of questions. All right. Peace, everybody.